are listening to the General Conversation Podcast. I'm Valerie.
This is Cord.
This is season 2, episode 8. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are staying safe. So, we're going to come today to talk about voting. Right now, I think they have the voting polls open um, October 12th, which was Monday. You could do early voting. It started from October 12th to October 30th. So today, if you listen to this, it might be out of order from other videos. Like I said, this is episode 8, but we had a little snafu. But right now, I want to put this out there because I think this one is going out soon. But anyway, we have some amazing news because Cordero has went to the voting polls today. Cordero, how was it for all the early voting? Like, tell us, like, give us the insight of.
It was really cool. Wasn't in line as long as I thought I was gonna be. There was a slight line. I know each time I went to a vote, it's been real short for me. I
Okay.
go, I go during the dumb times, but it
So,
wasn't that
about
bad.
what time did you go? Did you say, like, what day did you go on?
I went this morning. On Tuesday, I went about the tail end of 12 o'clock, and I was out of there before 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I was out of there
So, you
before
said,
2.
would you say it's about 2 hours to the whole
No,
process?
no. Mine was about an hour. When I say tail end, I mean it was like I think I got there about 12:50, almost 1 o'clock, literally, and I was out of there before 2 o'clock. I wasn't there long at all.
Okay, so maybe like 1:50 you were out of there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So how did you know where to go to vote for
I
early voting?
actually I googled it online. Googled it online. I said I literally put in early voting in Georgia, and then
Hmm.
put into the gave me a list of websites. Went to the little website, pick my county, pick what county you in, and it gives you that gives you the voting places, the times are open, the dates they're open, and it gives you directions on where to go.
Okay. Great.
Only thing you need is your driver's license. No other paperwork is needed. Um, yeah, it was real quick, real simple.
So were they requiring you to wear face masks?
Yes, you have to wear a face mask. There were were trying to adhere to the 6 foot distance. That's one reason why that line looked longer than it actually probably was. People were trying to adhere to the 6 foot rule. I'd say they're really doing like 5.5. It
Right.
went quite six, but the attempt was made. The
Right.
attempt was made. Um, so that's probably why the line looked a little bit longer than it actually was. But the lines they were moving. I think I probably got one of the slower people who do the thing, whatever, because I think his machine was kind of messing up a little bit. But got through it,
Oh, you
man.
said you got a slower
Yeah,
election volunteer.
yeah. I think his
Mm.
machine was like moving a little bit slower than everybody else because I was like, yo. But the lines was moving. We got through it. It was real simple, real quick.
So let me ask you, when you entered, did you have to enter and leave the same way?
No. You enter one way, you leave it. You leave out the other. Even with the voting booths, to me at least, the voting booth where you go in and actually put your vote for who you're gonna vote for,
Right.
the space is a lot wider.
Okay.
So I guess they're trying to even create distance with that. The space is a lot wider.
Right.
They had, to me, it seemed like they had more voting machines actually.
Oh, cool.
Just as good luck to me, and they had them kind of spaced out so where you can go and vote where you're comfortable at. So you didn't have to be right next to somebody. They had enough machines. You didn't have to be right next to somebody. You can go to a different one across the room if you wanted to.
Oh, nice. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So they're
So
not telling you guys where to stand. They're letting you choose what machine you would like to go
yeah, for the
to.
most part, that's a hey, because what the way they had this particular one set up, they say, well, anyone you see open is free. Like they had them against like the walls, but they're like, all this section is free, this section is free, or whatever. Like then they had one particularly for handicap
Okay.
individuals.
Mhm.
And then we actually go if you're go and vote, and you actually go stand in line to first they sit you down, you fill out paperwork, you fill out your paperwork, right?
Okay.
They go put you in line to get the little card.
Okay.
So when you go get the little card, there's 3 different lines to get your card. So once again, you're not standing on top of each other. There's 3 different lines spaced out pretty well to even get your card. And then they only letting a certain amount of people into the building to even sit down and fill the paperwork out. I think it was like 4 at a time. You had four different uh, volunteers.
And what you mean by paperwork is basically like your name and like
yeah, when you know your name,
let
your address,
your
and all that
address.
kind of stuff.
Okay, it's kind of already pre-filled out because normally when you go in, they have a sign up and they tell you how to check. You know, like
Right.
put your address here. We fill this part out. Okay.
And they still do that. They sit down, they still tell you put your address here, your name here, and stuff like that.
Right.
So they still tell you that, and but I think it's only doing 4 people at a time for the most part. And go to the line, and then you wait for them to call you up. What I did notice, one thing I did notice, and I did really like, was like if the elderly people that people couldn't stand up, they would just
Right.
let them. They'll fast track them, get them in
Okay.
there, sit them down, fill the paperwork out, and they go sit down again and wait to be called, and then they kind of fast track them.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Like a Six Flags. If you got
yeah,
the
they
Six
let
Flags
them go.
pass.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in your experience, do you think that the line was longer for you to wait standing in the line, or was it longer for you, like once you got into the building, you filled out your paperwork, was it long after that process?
No, it wasn't like that. Like the longest part was probably standing in line. I probably stood in line maybe about 25 minutes. Then when I got in there, they moved. They were moving pretty good. Like I said, I think I was literally the line I was in when I got in there. It probably slows them because his machine was moving a little bit slower.
Right.
But even that was still, we were getting called. It was still a
Hmm.
moving process. Yeah, like I said, I didn't think I thought it was gonna be that long, but I really wasn't. It was only a little bit longer than I would usually be. And I say about 10 or 15, maybe
Do
20,
you normally early vote, or do you normally vote on the actual
about
date?
50-50. I think that the past couple times I voted early.
Okay.
So I say this time took me maybe an extra 20 minutes on top of what I usually be in there for. But other than that, it wasn't bad at all.
So would you recommend early voting in this election?
I would go ahead if you can, just go ahead early because I'm pretty sure election day is gonna be stacked. You know,
Okay.
if you
So
get
if you don't, so if you're not sitting in the mail-in ballot, you should think, yeah, going early should be a
yeah,
great option for people to do.
yeah, if you go on your lunch break or what have you.
Would you say lunch break though? Because some people only get 30 minutes. Some
Well,
people get
I
an
don't know.
hour.
I don't know how people's jobs are, but I know in my particular job, when I did early voting one time before, boss was like, "Well, y'all, if you want to early vote, go ahead. Just take whatever time you need to vote because they only you don't want to be that company like, well, I couldn't vote at work because this company told me I couldn't. They don't want that kind of stuff. So I don't know. Talk to your managers, but I know my particular manager. They're like, if you going to early vote, go ahead. We stand in lines. It might be long. If you can't come back, that's cool. Whatever. So
Okay. So at the place that you voted at, do you think they did a good job by having things spread out and social distance? Did you see any
yeah,
disinfecting, anything like that?
I don't. I didn't see the workers had disinfectant stuff to disinfect
Hmm.
like the pens and stuff like that.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But yeah. Other than that, no. There was other, but they had their disinfecting and things like that. Everybody had on gloves. From what I can tell, everybody had on gloves. Also, one thing is when she actually went to go cast her ballot, the lady there, she let you do it yourself. She let you put it in. She told you how to do it. She
Oh,
watched you do it,
nice.
and she
Hmm.
let you load your ballot into the machine itself. And she said, she showed you the number where they actually count the ballot. She said, once that number changes to the to the next increment, that's how you
Right.
know your vote has been cast. Your ballot you've been counted. So
Kind of right.
she put it there. She let you watch it change. When it changed, you're good to go.
Oh, nice.
Turn your card in, get your sticker. Where's my sticker at? I can
And
find
you
it.
got a sticker. That was my next question. Did you get a
Yeah, I got a sticker. I probably left it in the
sticker?
car.
You got your sticker. How did it make you feel? Not to get a sticker, but to know that you got this portion out of the way. Like you went and voted. How did it make you feel?
I mean, there's one less thing I got to do. Probably your civic duty. One less thing I got to worry about now. I ain't got to worry about rushing to a poll.
Fingers crossed, right?
Yeah,
Fingers
yeah.
crossed.
I know, right? I ain't got to worry about rushing to no poll on a day of. I'm pretty
Right.
sure if the early voting, because we've heard reports of early voting lines being ridiculously long and things like that. I even
Mhm.
saw some clips on the internet with pictures showing people just the lines wrapped around the building and things like that. Um, so I can imagine early voting is like that. What the actual voting day is going to be like,
Right.
So
Right.
and I don't want to be in line for 6 hours. So
Right.
I'm glad I got
So it's
that.
just that easy for you just to basically Google,
Yeah,
how to early vote.
Google it. I literally
And
put in there early voting in Georgia, and
right.
brought me to a website. You get your choice on Google. Brought me to like the website, and I just put in my county, and it gave me the directions, the times, and the days. They made early voting
So
in
people
hours.
should know that most places you should check with your local and state listings, but most places that are offering early voting, the times I believe are 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. So that's a good span of time to try to
Mm-hmm.
get to the polls. And like I said, this is just the first week of it. They started it on Monday. And so you have a few weeks to go ahead and do early voting if that's something you choose to do. Or you can also feel free to mail in your ballots as well. I want to
Oh,
say this. Go ahead.
I want to say this very important thing. Please go where you are registered to vote. If you've moved or something like that, don't go where you are currently living. Go where you are registered to vote. It's very important that you know that, because we had an incident while I was there. The lady was kind of
Hmm.
confused. She said, "Well, I stay here now," or it was she. I think she had moved.
Did she have her? Did she change her address in her license?
She changed it on her license, but I think there was a discrepancy about where she was actually registered to vote. So
Wow.
make sure, even if your license says them different, always go by where you are actually registered to vote. Because I know I did that too. When we moved from Lawrenceville, I was staying in a different city, but I had to go to Lawrenceville to vote one year because I was still registered to vote in Lawrenceville. So
Gotcha.
always go where you are registered. Don't go by. Well, I say here now that don't mean nothing. Check where you are registered to vote.
I'm not sure. I think that is some good information to at least look at, but I noticed that I voted in this previous election for local, and I don't remember registering to change it,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I did get my license changed, like everything transferred over.
Right.
So maybe that did something. Because when I went and voted, I was allowed to because everything matched.
Right.
So I don't personally, I don't remember going in and say, "Hey, I live in this county now."
Mm-hmm.
But when I when I got my car and everything, I had I changed my license over
Right.
and got
Like
a.
I said, I don't know her
But
particular
yeah, just
situation.
but do listen, definitely do listen to Cordero and investigate that. We just giving you
Yeah.
our take on it. He's giving you his take on what he saw when he was at the polls today in 2020. And so just go ahead and research that as well. Clarify.
Right.
I
And,
know.
and there'll be a section on the paperwork to say, write your address if different from the above registration address. So there'll
Mhm.
be a section you have to fill that out. But make sure you Google that, or check your websites to see where you actually
Call
register.
your Secretary of State if that's who's holding it for you. Yeah, you can definitely. You have time to research this stuff and
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you are counted because every voice is needed and should be heard.
And
And
make
it's
sure
your
you
civic duty.
like I say, it's easy as Googling it, but make sure you go to a .gov site. Make sure you're on a .gov website. That's the official information. Don't go to a .com or org or anything like that. Make sure you go to a .gov, um, because we don't want any misunderstandings. We'll call them
There
that.
are a lot of them out there as well. That's why we just telling we're doing this podcast specifically about this so that you guys can research it on yourself because there are a lot of um misinformation out there, lies, falsities. So just make sure you do your duty. And like I said, I think early voting is the best. I remember, I know yesterday I called, where uh, because mine was a little different. I did get where should I go to register? I think I typed that in, and they took me to the website, and then they had me type in my name and my address, and or maybe it was my name and my date of birth. It's something like a like a pen, but you don't have to register for anything. Like you just type it in and it pulls
Mm,
you up. It pulls up your name, your address, and it say you should go here. And so
right.
I don't know if it gave
Exactly.
me the driving directions, or maybe I just didn't go that far to look at it. But I was like, okay, I know where that is because that's where I voted last time. And
Mm-hmm.
for early voting, like I said, I believe in early voting to get it out
Right.
of the way. Of course, when I voted last time for this, I think it was this year, or maybe it was last year, the local election that they had. I mean, it was so quick. I think it was in February. I'm not sure. That's neither here nor there. But yeah, it didn't take as long. And I had called there, because mine is actually at a YMCA. So I had called, and the guy said, I said, early voting starts today, correct? And he said, yes. He said, I'm just gonna tell you, the line is out the door. And I said, okay. We both started laughing. And so I drove up there and I saw that the line was literally out the door. And like I said, I think don't get discouraged by that, because like Cordero said, I think a lot of it too is people just making sure they're keeping their distance. I saw a lot of people with masks on, which I was proud of, because some people still walk around like they don't think nothing going on in this world. And so I think also, like I said, the line looks a lot longer because of the spacing and people trying to keep their distance. I didn't vote yesterday, but I do plan to vote this week. I have a plan to go super, super early. Hopefully that works for me, but it will get done. And I'll update you guys on that probably through Instagram. Take a little picture of my voting thing, my sticker, not my actual ballot, but my voting sticker. Okay, well, that was good to know. So, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
you have until October 30th from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in the state of Georgia. If your state said, if you live in a different state, go ahead and research that and Google it. And then, like I said, like Cordero said, go to make sure it's a .gov, which is an official site, and
Right.
find out if you can how you can early vote. Not if you can, but how you can early vote
Where
and
and
carve
everything.
some time out of your day. I said to be on the safe side. You might not need all of this time, but I say on the safe side, just give yourself 2 hours, just in case you got something to do or got to pick up
Yeah.
your kids or school or work or whatever you got going on. Because I'm definitely carving some time off my day to do it because it has to be done. I was thinking about that. I'm like, I know people talking about the lines are long. I'm like, if y'all can go stand in line for some J's, if y'all can go stand in line for when movies theaters, people used to like wait for movies to come out, be sitting out there camped out for video games and tickets and concerts, you can stand in line to vote and to be heard and to cast your ballot and to make a change. So
Yeah. Especially
thank
if you think that if
you.
you think the line is long now, imagine what the line gonna be like on the actual day of. So
Yeah, but still, don't let that tell you. If you gotta wait till November the 2nd, then that's what you gotta do. But I say, like I said, do early voting. Is definitely something that to kind of like the lines are gonna be long probably for a while, but at the end of the day, it's like at least you know you will get out the day. You ain't gotta you're not gonna miss anything. So if you do it early, you can just get it out the way. That's how I look at a lot of things in life. I just even when I used to do like with school work or whatever it is I have to do, I'm like if I get it out the way, I ain't gotta worry about it later.
right.
And that's how I do because procrastination has never been a friend to me, and I don't like the feeling of feeling anxious, like I got something to do but I ain't did it yet. Like that don't work with me. I don't got time to be anxious or feeling like I'm not, you know, doing my civic duty. So I'm like, yeah, no, I like to get things done. Cordell will tell you get it done and get it out the way.
Get out the way.
Checklist off the checklist,
I'm tired
and
because I
then
feel good.
finish.
I'm done with it. I ain't got to worry about it. Everybody gonna be like, I can't believe he lying long. I'm like, well, you know what I'm saying? You should have been responsible. You know
Oh
what I'm saying?
Lord, here you go. There
You
you
know what
go. We
I'm
not gonna shame. We not gonna shame on here.
saying?
But guys, yeah, thank you for listening to episode 8. It's been short. It was just to be informative for you all. Y'all make sure y'all check out the past episodes and the future ones we got coming up for you shortly. If you want to hear us talk about anything in particular, feel free to comment below. Send us an email, shout us out, share us with all of your friends, families, and people you think will be interested in our content. It's been a pleasure.
Peace.
Peace.